Hey everyone, so today I wanted to do another highlights video. I know I said I'd do these kind of once every 2 months, but over the last 3 months I've either not had the time to watch that many films or I just haven't had the motivation. A lot of the films I watched over the last few months I was really disappointed by, and when you kind of watch one bad film you're not really rushing to watch another. But I'll go through these. I've selected a few films from the last 3 months which I either really loved or have very strong opinions on for one reason or another. So I hope you enjoy this. There won't be in-depth reviews as such, just whether or not I like them, otherwise we'd be here forever. Very quickly, first of all, the TV shows that I've liked this over the last few months have really only been two, and I've seen them before. 2.5 Men, My Addiction Has Been Reborn, I absolutely love it. And of course Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I watched a lot of over the last 3 months because I went to see Caroline Rhea, so kind of the hype around that was still there. As far as the Bonham Carter Burton films I've watched recently, I won't talk about these in any detail as I've reviewed all of these, so the links to the reviews will be in the below bar if you wish to check those out. But I think highlights include Sweet Revenge, Ed Wood, 66, and undoubtedly the Warwicker trilogy. So the first film I want to talk about a little bit is Twilight. I think a very controversial film. A lot of people either love it or hate it. A lot of people who hate it have never seen it. I was kind of in that category. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't drawn to it. Then spur of the moment, I thought, let's watch Twilight. And you know something, I really enjoyed it. This is just the first film, 2008 film. I haven't seen any of the others, and I'm not really in a rush to see any of the others. I loved it, but I'm not really bothered about the other ones. I just think there are elements of it which I thought were really nice, and the story is actually very good. I know a lot of people disagree with it, but if I think from a writer's perspective, the elements of that story, at least in the film, I don't know how much of it has come from the novel and how much hasn't, but I quite liked the story, and I think it was reasonably well directed, and I don't really have any major issues with it. The next film I want to talk about, and probably one of the only new releases I've seen over the last 3 months, is Transcendence with Johnny Depp. The premise of the film didn't sound that exciting to me because it is very technical heavy. It's very sci-fi, Johnny Depp's character, whose name I can't remember, was going to die for one reason or another, and I think the reason around that is very interesting. It's all very relevant, and they put him into a machine at the very beginning of the film. That's not a spoiler, don't worry. And then it's kind of this, how does the human mind operate in a machine, or is it the human mind? And it has some very catastrophic effects. The only thing that really, really annoyed me about this film is that the very opening scene ruined the ending for me, because it basically announces how it ends, and in the run-up to the ending, that is not how I thought it was going to end. So had I not seen that, I would have had a totally different outlook to what I thought was going to happen, and then the ending that I knew because of the first scene had happened. So I think it's a little bit of a spoiler. So if I ever introduce it to anybody, if I get the DVD, which I will because it's Johnny Depp, I will fast forward to the first scene and make them watch it from the beginning thereafter, because I just think it spoiled it. But otherwise, fantastic film. Another film I was really blown away with is Silver Linings Playbook. I'm subscribed to Love Film, and it was one of the DVDs we got by post, and I swear I didn't add it to our rental list. I really don't think we did. It might have just been a mystery DVD, but I'm so glad we got it sent. I think Jennifer Lawrence is brilliant. It's the first thing I've seen her in, and just the whole story was really emotional. The mental health aspect, for me personally, I think it was very touching. I think it's done very seriously, but also there are moments in the film that are not just heartbreaking, but you just smile at how well they're done. And I'm not a dancer, but you can really feel a passion for that, and finding something that you can connect with to focus on. And the ending for me was very surprising, unlike Transcendence. So I really, really did enjoy Silver Linings Playbook. And then we have Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I'd wanted to see for ages. Again, that was another Love Film rental, I think, and absolutely brilliant. Emma Watson in this is fantastic. It's really weird because I didn't like Emma Watson for a long time, and then over the last kind of 6 months I've just become obsessed with her acting career, apart from The Bling Ring, which I think is really, really bad. But Perks of Being a Wallflower was heartbreaking. Again with this one, kind of the last third of it was so surprising. It's not the direction I thought it was going to take, and to be honest, the whole film was not what I thought it was going to be about. The main boy, whose name again I've forgotten, this is probably the worst video I've ever done, but everybody is absolutely brilliant, and it is obviously a very teenage heavy film, very focused on the teenage life, but I think there's something in there in terms of health that everybody can take on it. Mental health, again, I seem to be drawn to that kind of film. It's very emotional, and Melanie Lynskey is in it, just a little bit, but I didn't know that, so that was a nice little surprise. very emotional film, and I did well up quite a bit towards the end. And the last film I want to talk about is the 2012 Love, Peace and Understanding. The only reason I watched this is because of Elizabeth Olsen. I grew up obsessed with the Olsen twins. I absolutely loved them. I still do. Apparently they have new perfume out. That's interesting. Love, Peace and Understanding was nice, and I know nice is not a good word. It's not a very advanced word to use, but nice is the only word that I can use for it, because it didn't get my emotions stirring. I wasn't, hyperventilating with excitement halfway through it. I wasn't that bothered about how it ended, but it was nice and relaxed, and I think it was just, when you want to just watch a film because you're not really bothered about doing anything else, but you don't want your emotions to be played with. It's a nice background film. Elizabeth Olsen's character is great. Elizabeth Olsen is the first thing and only thing I've seen Elizabeth Olsen in, so it's really quite bizarre to watch her because she looks identical to the Olsen twins. I saw a picture of them the other day, the three of them together, and she's so much taller than they are. I think they're about my height. But yeah, from an Olsen fan perspective, it's a very interesting film, but otherwise it's average, but it's nice enough. So that is pretty much the highlights from the films I've watched over the last 3 months. I'm endeavouring to watch a lot more over the coming months, so I've got kind of a wider selection to talk about in my next highlights video. If you do have any suggestions for films, let me know, and I'll either sort out the DVD or add them to Love Film, because I just have I don't specify which DVDs I want, just any from my rental list. And if you're in the UK, I do suggest you subscribe to Love Film, as I love it so much. Information about directors and writers and full cast information for any films mentioned will be in the below bar, as well as links to IMDb pages and links to my bottom Carter Burton reviews for things that I've mentioned. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!